Oh my gosh.
Get real.
No. Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. The holidays are here. Hanukkah's in full swing. Christmas is in 2 sleeps. Very exciting. And Kwanzaa right around the corner. So no matter how you celebrate today, we're doing all things holidays. So to kick things off and get you in the spirit of the season, let's start with one of our favorite parts, the food. We all know Christmas dinner is traditionally the time.
I was thought you were going to talk about your salad that you were eating.
That's okay.
All right, anyways, back to the food.
Christmas is the time, or the holidays, to break out a fancy feast, whether it's a roast, lamb, or a big bird. It's all about creating a dinner to remember. But now a new survey says that half of Americans will be outsourcing their holiday dinner and plan on ordering takeout or picking up pre-made meals from restaurants for their family gathering. And get this, nearly 60% plan to eat at a restaurant for their big holiday meal. What do we think about this?
I think people forget about the dishes. So this is why my parents are thinking about maybe they host a lot, they entertain a lot, but you spend the next 2.5 hours up to your elbows in the soap suds, right? We're cleaning, we're drying, we're cleaning, we're drying, we're cleaning. No one's talking, no one's happy, no one's excited. So I think it takes rid of that part.
I gotta call you out. I don't know if you've ever been up to your elbows in dishes.
I have, but I was wearing cool gloves. But it does. I spend the rest of my
put your laundry in the dryer and thought it came out folded.
For permanent press only.
In college.
Yeah.
All right.
I own that.
So anyways, Costco has great, it looks fancy, right, dishes, but you just throw them all away. Right?
Oh.
So you don't even have to clean it. If you want, you know what I'm talking about, Erica? So they kind of have like an upscale throwaway set.
Yeah.
So it solves your problem with your hard labor growing up.
I'm just saying, you miss a lot of the dessert. I'm scrubbing. I'm on dry duty a lot of times.
Tell that to someone that's like very traditional, and I'm not even saying someone with resources, because a lot of people are passed down China, even if it's not expensive
we
China.
have the China too.
And it's very important in that family tradition to have your nice China on the table.
Yes.
Yep,
Erica, you host almost every party.
I'm a hoster. Well, recently we've been doing the nicer disposable dishes, but then also a big thing is when we have bigger parties, like with our family, I don't call it a party, just, holiday, whatever, then we kind of have this system. It's almost like for anybody who grew up like as a Girl Scout or Boy Scout, you do this, it's a assembly line.
Oh,
like someone's taking the stuff off the plates, and then someone's washing the plate, someone's dipping it. So it's like the more people that we have, the faster that it goes. But I don't begrudge people for wanting to just order takeout or go out to a nice meal. Like first of all, we didn't have the opportunity to do that just a couple years ago. And I think that some people are really looking forward to just like relaxing this holiday season, because when the world opened, we didn't realize how much stuff we were doing before. So I understand if you do not want to cook a 7-course meal for your family.
To each its own.
Yeah.
To each its own. So it appears there's a debate over the correct way to eat a candy cane. A survey by the National Confectioners Association found that 57% of people eat the straight end of the cane first, 27% of you eat the curved end first, and then 16% break it up into little tiny pieces. So we each have 2 candy canes. I want to see how you all eat your cane. Oh, Erica, you're starting. How do you eat your candy cane?
Well, first you got to break it.
No.
Yes.
You break it?
I have
So you do pieces. You do pieces.
Yeah.
I get really upset when it breaks. I want the perfect candy cane, and I'm very careful when I open it.
You take it all the way off.
Oh, I don't do that.
That's not my.
I use it as a holder to hold it, and then I
always start on the
And then
big
you make a
end.
meme.
and then I make it.
You do the little end, I do the big end.
And
You do the big end?
Always.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, what do you do?
I bring it halfway down and then try to make it as sharp as I can as a weapon.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You make a shiv, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to blow y'all's mind a little bit more, okay?
Oh.
Now you get a bigger candy cane, and then you get a big dill pickle, and you put the candy cane into the dill
That's the
pickle.
most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
No, this is for real.
How do you
Who
put the
out
candy?
there?
What?
Yes, you get a dill pickle, and you stick the candy cane into the middle of
No
the
one
dough.
does that.
That is a joke.
That's
Somebody does that.
not right.
I've heard of it before. I've never
You've
tried
seen it.
I've seen it.
You've seen it because I know y'all used to have those little things in Chicago where somebody's mama or the aunt had a little like snow cone station, and they would sell the pickles, and then they would sell the candy canes.
You have
and
minty pickle? That's
you walk
terrible.
around.
Okay.
You walk around the corner all day,
Don't try
just
it at
eating
home.
that pickle and the. Seriously.
Well, we're going to move on to the next beat,
Okay.
Erica. It's that time of year when you can't go into a mall or a store without hearing those familiar holiday songs, but not every song is a hit. In fact, some of the most hated songs, according to a YouGov survey, are Last Christmas, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
I agree.
Yep, agreed. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, but this one tops the list. Have a listen.
Santa baby, slip a stable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight.
That's a great CD. We've had that growing up, that exact same CD.
Oh, yeah.
I like that song.
I don't mind that one, but I agree.
I don't mind that one. What's your most hated Christmas song?
I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. That messed me up for like 10 years.
It is a little weird, isn't it?
It's very confusing.
Yeah, I guess what she's
about
saying.
you?
I don't like all I want from Christmas is my two front teeth.
Yeah, that's a weird one. What
Well,
about
because you
Jeff?
have them. That's
I
why.
know.
Jeff, what about you? Most
can't
hated.
Follow that. I don't want to have one that I hate that
Any
I
of
get
them
angry.
bug you? Any of them bug you?
No, people bug me. Songs are okay. Yeah.
What
How
about
you?
that? The 12 Days of Christmas bug me only because I'm committed to doing the whole
All
thing.
of it.
So I'll be in the car and it comes on. I'm like, oh, and the second day, and then I do the whole thing. And I want to show that I memorized it. It bugs.
11, Lords a leaping.
Whipping.
10, Milk's a mating. Yeah, it's annoying.
9, ladies dancing.
8,
Lords a leaping. 7, swans a swimming. 6, geese a laying. 5, golden rings. 4, calling birds. 3, French hens. 2, turtle doves. Yeah, exactly. Pretty good.
Well, don't forget the partridge in the pear tree.
Partridge in a pear tree. All right, coming up on DBL, dealing with holiday stress can be tough, but we've got an expert here to help us set some boundaries, and a woman who was adopted as a child shares her inspiring story with us, how she's helping spread Christmas joy to others year after year.
It's happy holiday season time.
From our DBL family
To yours, we want to wish you
A happy holiday season.
A happy holiday season.
I the one day thumb.
Okay, I'm gonna read the worst.
So I
forgot where I
we're
was
still
when
gonna
I-
do a break for.
Do you want to do worst songs, or do you have
Whatever
something?
you want to talk about, I will time you. You've got about a minute 40. So.
I'm gonna read you guys some of the worst
5,
songs.
4,
Okay.
3, 2.
All right, we're reading some of the worst songs that people have said. This comes from Best Life Online. One is Please Daddy, Don't Get Drunk This Christmas. This is by John Denver. It's a little known hit. And
I kinda wanna hear it.
To be honest, the Don't Get Drunk This Christmas is in parentheses. We have to put that in there.
What does that mean?
I don't know, it's part of the song. Someone said Santa Baby by Michael Bublé, and I love that. Santa Baby. I like that song. All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth. I didn't
What
love
about
that.
the Christmas shoes?
Oh, that's number 1 on this list.
I cry every
Paul
time. The
McCartney.
Christmas shoes is a little boy
I love
trying
that
to-
song. Is that Mistletoe?
to buy shoes.
That's the
for
worst
mommy who-
song?
It's her last Christmas. So heartbreaking. So
Dude,
heartbreaking.
Mistletoe from Justin Bieber's on there. I love that song.
Mistletoe by
Mistletoe?
Justin
How's it
Bieber.
go?
It's awesome.
Can you sing it?
I love it. No.
Wait a minute. Apparently,
Yes.
the peppermint stick in a dill pickle is a Chicago thing only.
I heard of it. There you go.
I was like, you're insane.
This is what it looks like.
Never
Can I
heard of
show
that.
it?
Yeah.
It can't. I mean,
Yes,
you
honey.
should be able to show it, right?
Well, now you're making it weird.
Yeah, you just.
You got it.
Yeah, you could show it.
It's the.
Sounds like a pregnancy
It's like
craving,
a.
doesn't
No, it's something that people.
The salty and
Yes.
pepperminty.
Behold
mint?
a peppermint stick in a pickle.
I've heard of that. I've never tried. I kind of want to try it now.
Sucker punch of crunch, salt, and sugar with nothing sane to balance it out.
That sounds really bad.
We should have tried it.
I guess.
Oh, the other one people don't like is the Oh Holy Night by Christina Aguilera, and I think it's because it's a lot of.
Actually, I think Whitney Houston's out there. That one.
What's that?
Oh, the new one's about to come out.
Welcome back to DBL. Now, an act of kindness can change someone's entire day, but for Elizabeth Groff, it changed her entire life. Growing up in an orphanage, Elizabeth constantly felt alone until a Christmas surprise showed her just how much she was loved. We spoke to her about her incredible story. Take a look.
Elizabeth, can you tell us about your life before you were taken to the orphanage? Just sort of paint a picture for us, if you can.
Sure. I was born and raised in southern part of Ukraine, and when I was about 1 year old, my father was actually killed in an alcohol-related accident. And so after his death, my mother just couldn't deal with the pain, so she turned to drinking and also became an alcoholic. And then a few years down the road, she gave birth to my little sister Tanya, and knowing that she couldn't support us on her own, she packed us up and moved us to live with our grandparents in a nearby village. And I have lots of wonderful memories growing up in a village, but my mom's drinking never stopped. In fact, over the years, it got much worse. And so I had to kind of stand up and be the head of the household at a very young age. At the age of 6, and so I was just responsible for taking care of my grandparents, my sister, and my mom. And so I just ended up going from cottage to cottage and begging for food because, you know, I was too young to work at that time. And on top of that, my mom got pregnant again, and this time with my younger sister, Ilona. And unfortunately, Ilona's life was very short-lived. She passed away just 7 months old, and that's because my mom, you know, fed her alcohol instead of milk. And when that happened, I knew that I had to protect my other sister, Tanya. So at the age of 7, I decided that Tanya and I would run away.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing your story. And it kind of puts into perspective, like, people think they have it tough in what they're doing day to day. But thank you for sharing your story. What do you remember about the day you ran away from home?
I just remember taking my little sister Tanya by the hand. We got on the bus and we left. And the bus dropped us off at a nearby city. And as we were hanging out the bus station, we eventually got hungry. So we started collecting empty bottles to trade those in for money and then use that money to buy food. And so the clerk at the nearby store called the police, and they actually took us to what we call a detention center. And, you know, our life was much better because we didn't have to worry about finding food. But after about a year at the detention center, my sister's biological father showed up. So she's my half sister. And when he showed up, he said, "I'm taking her home with me, but I don't want you because you are not my daughter." And, you know, this was a very defining moment in my life because on that day, I lost the only family that I had left. And after watching Tanya walk away, I just felt abandoned. I felt forgotten by the world. I felt like no one cared about me. But at the same time, you know, I knew that I had to let her go because that was the best that I could do for her.
Good Lord.
My heart.
I know. Breaks.
Ruth, thank you so much for your transparency with your story. I know that there's someone out there who is thinking, like, there's someone like me, someone understands me, and I think it's so important that we have you on the show. Can we talk about Operation Christmas Child? Because it's a Christian program that sends shoe boxes filled with toys to kids all over the world, and you received a box 18 years ago. So tell us about the day that you received your box.
Yes, it's been 18 years, which is hard to believe, but I was 10 years old at that time. I was living in an orphanage, and I remember the orphanage director called me and my group of students into a small room, and she told us that we were going to receive gifts from people that wanted us to know how much God loves us. And for an orphan, that's really hard to believe. I didn't think that, you know, anyone cared. And at that time, I didn't know God personally, but I had been praying on my own and just asking him to show me that someone loves me. And so that's when actually Operation Christmas Child came to my orphanage. And so I knew that that was a direct response to my prayer. And I remember they presented the gospel to us and they gave out the shoe boxes, and I finally got to open my box. And on that day, I remember just realizing that, you know, I'm not alone, that God is with me. He's not going to leave me broken and hopeless, but that he's going to come beside me and become my family. And he used that shoebox to say, "You are not an orphan. You are my daughter."
Wow.
Amen.
Holy mackerel. That's unbelievable.
I'm at a loss for words. You're unbelievable. We're so honored to have you share your story with us today. DBL Nation, Operation Christmas Child has been delivering boxes since 1993. This year, you will deliver your 200th million box. That's 200 million kids who have received gifts. So if you want to help Operation Christmas Child, visit SamaritansPurse.org/OCC. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
What a story.
Yep, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Google Flights, and taking a look at the Friday before Christmas to the Monday after. From Harrisburg to Orlando, the average price for a round-trip ticket is $734. Traveling to New Orleans is around $755. And Denver, the average price is around $774. You can see the prices are high for these trips. So what's the best time to take that getaway? Our sources? Scott Keys, chief flight expert with Scott's Cheap Flights and major airlines.
Around January 7th or so, it flips virtually overnight from the most expensive time of the year to travel to the cheapest 2 months of the entire year for travel, and that's January and February.
Keys says flights can drop in price nearly 80% in January and February compared to December. So let's compare some flights. American, Delta, and United are showing a round trip from Harrisburg to Orlando December 23rd to December 26th is around $600 to $700. Compare that to January 19th to the 23rd, it's about $200 to $300 cheaper for the same round trip. If you make the drive to Baltimore, you get more options and a little lower price. Frontier, Southwest, and Spirit are showing a round trip from BWI to Orlando December 23rd to the 26th is around $400 to $500. It's also about $200 to $300 cheaper if you go January 19th to the 23rd. Key says there are several reasons why January and February are the best months.
You've got so many families, students, teachers who really can't travel during those months because the academic calendar.
He also says there's a travel hangover from flying places over the holidays.
Welcome back to DBL. This holiday season, it's inevitable. We all feel a little bit of extra stress, whether that be at traffic, at the mall, when you're just trying to shop last minute. You guys feeling that? Well, family overstaying their welcome is also bad. Overspending on gifts is bad. The list just goes on and on. So executive coach and author Elizabeth Pearson shared some really great tips on how to make stress our friend. Take a look.
Elizabeth, you help people break out of the mental cage that holds us back. So why is this so important as we get older?
I think it's important because we're not dead yet, right? Like, I think when we're little, we have some of this external conditioning trying to tell us who we are, mold us into being a certain person. And then as we grow and we actually embrace freedoms that we have, we start to kind of refer back to those old patterns of thinking, I can only do this or I can only do that. I'm sure we all have a wonderful friend or family member that we just love and we think, God, why aren't they doing all of this amazing stuff? They're genius and they're beautiful and they're strong. But it's this mental conformity that we end up getting into when we get older. But I think it's really important to kind of identify that, like identify where a comfort zone might be, and then try to do little things differently to break free from that so you can gain some momentum and then start living this life of freedom and abundance that we all should be living.
I love it.
That is great advice.
It really is, and I was excited to ask you this question because I feel like the holidays are different. There's almost kind of two different kinds of people. There's people that show up and eat and open gifts, and there's the people that plan everything. Flights, grandpa needs this, you know, all this. So like the holidays are actually really stressful for a lot of people. So what would you say to them in terms of handling this period of high stress and so they can maximize the holidays and have fun like everybody else?
Yeah, I think first off, you can kind of flip the script and say, you know, I can take any obstacle and turn it into an opportunity. So you could say, I get to be the person that is the go-to for all of my family members who love me so much and are traveling to come see me. You know, you can always kind of like see it as an opportunity to maybe do something different than you did last year. Like for instance, last holiday season, I made a commitment not to have any alcohol. And I thought, we'll see how this goes. You know, I'm going to get to try something different. And it was wonderful. So I think if you really kind of change your perspective on it, it can be a challenge and you can get to overcome that challenge. Another really good tip is to lower expectations.
Yes.
Lower expectations for your family, lower expectations on yourself too, because I think around the holidays, if we can just assume good intent behind everybody who's around us and lower our expectations, we're a lot less likely to be disappointed.
I love it. So we're always hearing the word boundaries when it comes to protecting our own peace. So how do we create them during the holiday chaos? And maybe I have a specific for you, for me personally. What do I do when I'm sitting in a car and there's no parking spots and the guy who just got in his car takes 5 minutes and he's looking at his phone and I'm waiting for him? How do I find my inner peace during this holiday season?
I think in that specific instance, you could think that maybe he's texting somebody who's in the middle of a crisis or emergency. You never really know. I tell this story. My husband, traveled a lot and his flights were delayed quite frequently. And there was one time it was delayed like 4 hours. It was brutal. I was at home with the kids. I wanted him to get back. And it turned out when they were boarding, a guy had a cardiac arrest in line. And so we thought about, gosh, if he was on that plane, that man might not have survived. He might not have had those people there to save his life. So I think, again, assuming good intent, maybe that person is just totally spaced out, but maybe they would need to get away from their kids for 2 hours or something. And they're sitting there and they're just sitting in the parking lot. Maybe they're having, an episode of some sort and they just need some space away from everybody. So, and then know that by sending them positivity and love and saying, I hope that you're getting what you need in my parking space, that the sooner you can get to that vibration, another space will open up just for you.
I'm gonna
a metaphor for life.
I'm gonna take this clip, and then when I'm boiling, I'm just gonna be like, where's that clip? Thanks, Elizabeth. Thank you. She's right. You're right.
Flipping the script, perspective can change like your whole attitude and your outcome. So I have to ask you this, because the holidays are supposed to be the happiest time. Nobody wants any conflict or to cause conflict. So what do you actually say to a person that you want to set a boundary with? What would your script be?
Yeah, well, first, I think you need to identify where you need to set a boundary. So maybe identify, I call it drains, right? What are these big drains? Is it the travel? Is it that you're going to be staying with a family member and maybe you're not going to have your own bathroom, you're not going to have your own personal space? So identify what it is that is kind of triggering the stress or the anxiety within you. And then I think have a candid conversation, maybe with a hostess or whoever's house you're in, and say, I know that you want me to be happy and joyful while I'm here, because as we know, that will spread to everybody else in your environment. So what I'm going to need is maybe from 3 to 4 every day. We cannot have any family activities. That's going to be my meditation time, or that's going to be my time to go sit in a random parking spot somewhere and be alone. But I think if you come in and you don't really try to project it on the person, like you make me feel this way. Instead, say, I've identified that I need some personal space, or I've identified that I will not talk about politics at the Thanksgiving or Christmas table, what have you. And if that does happen, just know that I'm going to remove myself, right? So I think having a boundary and really trying to communicate it in a way that this is what I need to feel comfortable in this space with you. I think everybody is going to want to honor that, and it doesn't finger point at somebody else if you just really are vocalizing what you need.
I love that, because then it saves all the passive aggressiveness, right? Yeah. It's like you just cut to the chase. This is what I need. Oh, sure, here, we'll arrange that for you. Boom. But nobody does it. Nobody does it.
If you can't do that, then I will fix it myself.
Yep.
But it really is 100% accountability. And I think a lot of times people try to hold others to agreements that they never made. But if you come in and say, this is what I need, and then there's an agreement made, then you might have a little bit, to come back with if they overpass that boundary. So I think it's just a lot of clear communication and empathy and compassion for each other.
Love it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for helping us take better care of ourselves this holiday season. To our viewers, you got to get her book. It would make a great gift. You can pick up a copy of Career Confinement wherever books are sold. We'll be right back. Thank you, Elizabeth. Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.
Scammers are up to their old tricks with some updated tactics for the holidays to separate you from your money and personal information. So we're going to show you how to spot some of the most common scams using these sources. First up, you'll want to use caution when doing your shopping online. Scammers sometimes set up fake sites that look like real businesses to steal your information or convince you to download malicious software. Here's an example of a scam shopping website that we created. It may even imitate a brand you recognize. How can you know it's a scam? First, check the URL and make sure it's spelled correctly. Then, make sure you end up on a secured website, which is indicated by a lock icon to the left of the URL. Next, be suspicious of unusually low prices. Scammers hope you'll ignore any concerns you have about the site to save a few bucks. And finally, be careful if the site requires you to unexpectedly download software or asks for too much personal information, like your social security number. Scammers also know we're doing a lot of online holiday shopping, so watch out for fake shipment notifications. These are usually phishing emails or texts with links that may allow someone to access your personal information or ask you for money to release a shipment that really doesn't exist. Here's one example that was sent to us by a Verify viewer where a scammer claims their package can't be shipped because of a mistake in their zip code. It asks for some personal information and later a redelivery fee. So how do we know this is a scam? First, the link in the text message does not go to USPS's official website, which is a big red flag. Next, the Postal Inspection Service says if you never signed up for a USPS tracking request for a specific package, then don't click the link. Carriers leave an official notice in your mailbox when they can't deliver a package. The USPS also doesn't charge a fee for redeliveries. This time of year, snow can make the holidays feel magical. And for those of you in warmer climates, a snow globe might be the closest you get to a white Christmas. One Facebook post that was shared more than 60,000 times warns that some snow globes are dangerous to pets because they contain antifreeze. It tells the story of two dogs who were attracted to the liquid from a broken snow globe because it was sweet and later died. So let's verify. Do some snow globes contain a toxic chemical used in antifreeze? Our sources are poison control centers in D.C. and New England, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and VCA Animal Hospitals. Snow globes are shipped to souvenir stores around the world, and to prevent them from freezing in transit, our sources say some manufacturers add chemicals that are commonly used in antifreeze. The most toxic antifreeze chemical is ethylene glycol, which can be deadly to pets and humans if a snow globe were to break and the liquid is ingested. It's often difficult to know what's inside a snow globe before purchasing, although some do list ingredients on the labels. So, yes, some snow globes do contain a toxic chemical used in antifreeze. Our sources warn ethylene glycol has a sweet taste which can attract pets. If you think someone or a pet has ingested it, you should seek immediate medical treatment. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Hey.
We love hearing from our viewers, and some of you have holiday questions. Jessica has a question for Jeff. She wants to know, is there something that automatically gets you in the Christmas spirit?
Erica's going to like this. Maybe Mariah Carey. The first time you pop in Mariah Carey, you're in the spirit.
Same.